What's up guys, it's your favorite Kiwi coach, and give me 6 months of your time, I'll give you the best golf swing of your life. So welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new to Kiwi Golf Japan, we do a bunch of videos where we analyze PGA Tour professional golf swings, we analyze our client before and after videos, we do videos like this where we're talking about the lower body movement in transition, what the hell should the hips be doing? So if you're interested in those topics, the golf swing, golf instruction, this is the perfect channel for you, and let's go ahead and jump in. So like I just said there, this particular video, we will be talking about the hip movement throughout the downswing. So if you ever wonder to yourself, should the hips be rotating a lot in the transition area or the downswing? Should this pelvis be dropping in the downswing? If you ever wondered, how do the hips move in the downswing? This is the perfect video for you, and let's go ahead and jump in. But before we get into the video, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, and that is Kiwi Golf Japan. If you did not know, YouTube does not pay the bills. So if you want to help support the Kiwi Coach and continue to allow us to make videos for you guys on YouTube, well, after the video is over, check out the link down below to the Kiwi Platinum membership. Sign up because it really supports us. Now, I promise, let's go talk about the hips. So in this particular video, we are going to be detailing how the hips should be moving throughout the downswing. So what does that entail? What does that really mean? Well, we're going to be talking about first and foremost rotation amounts, right? So how much should the hips be rotating at each position throughout the downswing? Also, we're going to be talking about what's called tilting amounts, right? So how much should the hips overall tilt? Should they tilt at all? If you don't even know what a tilt is, don't even worry, we're going to explain that as well. And then last but not least, how much lateral movement of the hips should I have as well? All these questions are common questions you guys always have. Should I move the hips laterally? Should I rotate the hips? How much should I do it? Should I tilt the hips? All of these you've had questions on. We're going to go over all of them. So to start out this video, let's start out with rotation with the hips on the downswing. What are the proper checkpoints? So we're going to be talking about rotation now, but before we get into rotation, I think we need to explain positions, because a lot of you guys maybe understand because you watched my videos before, but maybe you're new to the channel, you don't really know about what we talk about when we talk about positions. So let me quickly detail what I'm going to explain here. So top of swing, in America, we actually call this position 4. On the downswing, when the arm is parallel to the ground, we call that position 5. And then when the club shaft is parallel to the ground, we call that position 6. And then when you hit the golf ball, we call that position 7. Now, the reason why it's important to understand those position systems is because we're going to be talking about how much the pelvis should be rotating at each one of those positions. So I'm going to say position 5, position 6, position 7 really quickly. So I want to make sure that you guys get that before I start to just go off on that. Second, I want to talk about when I say open or close, what do I mean? Well, closed to the target line is going to be when the hips are more so in this fashion right here. When I say open to the target line, that's when the hips are more so in this fashion right here. And then if you don't know what the target line is, it's typically where the golf ball is. If you draw a line all the way out into the distance, that would be the target line. Now that we got all the basics out of the way, let's go into position 5 first and talk about my personal parameters with how much rotation of the hips you should have. So now at the top of the swing at position 4, most people start at a 45-degree angle closed to the target line. And then from the top of swing to our first position, which is position 5, when the lead arm is parallel, most people rotate more towards the open side, right around 10 to maybe 20 degrees. So that's 35 degrees to about 25 degrees from this top of swing position to here, right? So 45 degrees at the top, and then from here anywhere from maybe 35 degrees to 25 degrees. Now a simple visual checkpoint is, if I get down to position 5, if I can see about half my left leg here, for my preference, that would be the exact amount of rotation you would want to have in that section. But the key points here are, from the top of swing to position 5, the hips are definitely rotating more towards the target line, but they are not open at that position, right? So at position 5, we're not actually this way. We still are closed relative to the target line. Those are the important key points, and that is the first section. Now from position 5 down to position 6, right? That's when the club shaft is parallel to the ground, that's P6. P5 again is gonna be that lead arm parallel. From P5 to P6, this is actually when the pelvis or the hips are going to be slightly open to the target line. Remember, this is going to be closed to the target line, and this would be slightly open to the target line, roughly right around 10 degrees. So if you do the math there, from the top of swing to position 5, there's anywhere from 10 to 20 degrees there, which puts us right around that 35 degree to 25 degree range. And then as we get to position 6, now we're roughly right around anywhere from 10 degrees open to maybe even some people are 20 degrees open. So if you do the math there, there's much more rotation from position 5 to position 6 than there is from position 4 to position 5, which is a big key fundamental, and personally the swing I teach, as well as I think any swing in general, that should definitely be the case. Now at position 6, if you want to know the visual checkpoint, that's going to be really simple to look for. On a 2D camera, it's going to appear like these legs are in one line. So the left leg is not necessarily pointed out this way, or the left leg is not necessarily behind the other leg like this. You basically look like the legs are in one line in a 2D camera. Now in real, we're actually seeing the pelvis is 10 degrees open, but with the 2D camera, if you film from the angle I film from, that would be the visual checkpoint. These two legs are in a line. Now from position 6 into position 7, the pelvis is going to continue to open, and then around impact, you're going to be anywhere from 25 degrees to 35 degrees open relative to the target line. And if you do the math there, let's say you're 10 degrees open at P6, and let's say you're 35 degrees open at impact, that's going to be right around 25 degrees rotation in that section right there. And now the visual checkpoint for position 7, you're going to want to see about half of your left leg on this side of your right leg, right? So we don't want to see it on this side. That would be half of the leg on this side. That's more position 5. We want to see it on the other side of the right leg on this side. And if you can see about half of your left leg at impact, that would be the visual checkpoint that you want to have at position 7. So now to wrap up the rotation, I'll quickly go through the checkpoints again. So top of swing about 45 degrees. As you start to get down to position 5, maybe right around 35 degrees to 25 degrees. As you get to position 6, now we're right around 10 degrees open, some people even a little bit more. And then as you get into impact, you're gonna be right around that 25 degrees to 35 degrees open at that point. Now these are just my particular preferences. I think other coaches obviously have much different preferences than this, and I'm sure you guys have seen them on YouTube. So I just want you guys to take this video as such. It's my particular preference. I think it's really worked for my players, but I'm not going to necessarily say that it's the only way to do things. There's probably other ways to move the hips as well, but you're watching our video, right? So here's our preferences. So the next part of the video, we're going to start to get into what's called pelvis tilt. And this is a very interesting concept because I know a lot of you guys are maybe watching the Japanese GG swing or the shallow swing, and you heard all about this left pelvic tilt motion. You know, do I need to tilt the pelvis in transition? Should the pelvis be level at the top of the swing, level in transition? You know, what should I do with the pelvis? Should it tilt? Should it not? Kiwi Coach, I'm confused. Help me out. Let's go jump in and start talking about the tilting action of the pelvis. So now when it comes to pelvic tilting, there's really 4 types of pelvic tilts that I'm going to be discussing in this particular video. There is going to be this left pelvic tilt, right, when the left side of the pelvis tilts down. There will also be a little bit of this right pelvic tilt when the right pelvis starts to tilt down. There's going to be what's called anterior pelvic tilt when the front part of the pelvis tilts down like this. And then there's also going to be posterior pelvic tilt when the back part of the pelvis tilts down, right? So there's 4 tilts that we're talking about. Let's talk about what do the pelvises really do from the top of swing to position 5. So starting at the top of the swing, all great players are going to be subtly in left pelvic tilt and anterior pelvic tilt, which just simply means at the top of the swing, right, the left side of the pelvis is slightly lower than the right, and then the front part of the pelvis is slightly more tilted down than the back. There are no good players who have right pelvic tilts and then posterior pelvic tilt at the top of the swing. It just does not happen. So after we get past that top of swing position and move towards transition, all that the great players are doing are increasing the left pelvic tilt amount and increasing the anterior pelvic tilt amount. There are no other tilts that is occurring in that section of the golf swing. So to show you that from the down the line view, it would look something like this. And then to show you guys that from the face-on view, it would look something on the lines of this. Now, quick little secret tip here, which I typically don't talk about. I usually leave this for lessons, but when it comes to left pelvic tilt in this section of the golf swing, it is not necessarily driven from physically trying to tilt the pelvis, right? So if I go like this is physically tilting the pelvis. It's actually primarily driven by the amount of flex the left knee has and then relative to what the right knee flex is. Let me explain. So if I go down and I get the left knee to have more flex than the right knee, that will naturally tilt the pelvis without me having to physically tilt the pelvis a large amount like I just did. So little secret tip there, guys. From the top of swing to position 5, if you want to increase the left pelvic tilt amount, just get the left knee to have a little bit more flex than the right knee, and actually you're going to do the left pelvic tilt move a lot better than most amateur golfers. All right, that's it for you guys on YouTube, but before you guys click off the video, let me give you some quick wrap-up points. So now when it comes to the sequence of rotation, this is my personal opinion, my personal preference on what I like to see for the sequence of rotation. The main key points you guys should take away from it are, when you're checking your pelvis rotation amount, check from position 4, position 5, position 6, and position 7. Maybe take your model swing that you're trying to look at, go through those positions and see what your pelvis looks like relative to the target line and then relative to that professional golf swing. That can give you a pretty good idea of what you have to do moving forward. Now, if you guys want to watch the whole video and think about the tilts as well as the lateral movement, check out the Kiwi Platinum membership. Again, you're supporting our YouTube channel as well, getting a bunch of videos of great golf instructional content on that site, so definitely check it out. Check out the Kiwi Coach 6-month program, like, comment, subscribe, share all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next video.